until this point, all signs have been pointing towards the Bay Area housing market having an incredibly hot spring season here in 2025. But the latest data reports might indicate that is not the case. Could we in fact be headed into a buyer's spring market? Coming up on this Silicon Valley Snapshot. If you've been watching these snapshots consistently over the last couple of months, you'll know that the data has been rather unclear over these last few months, but there have been enough leading indicators in the data to show that this is probably going to be a very strong spring market for sellers. But the latest data report to come out has added quite a bit of confusion to this already puzzling situation. And we're going to get into that data in just a second. But before we do, if you're a home buyer in today's marketplace and you're trying to figure out what is the right offer strategy for yourself, and as you're going to see later on in this video, it really matters what area, what neighborhood you're looking in, because what I'm giving you right now is macro data. And what you need in order to make the best offer possible is micro data. So if you're interested in a customized free data report specifically for the neighborhood or the zip code or the area that you're looking in, you can text the word data plus the area or zip code that you're looking in, and we will get that information sent straight to your inbox. And if you're a home seller, you will also see later in this video that pricing strategy is crucial when it comes to making sure that your home doesn't sit on the market longer than it needs to. Not only that, but pricing strategy is crucial in order to ensure that you're achieving the highest possible price, because pricing your property incorrectly at the beginning can have horrible consequences later on down the line. So if you're looking for a custom data report to help you in your pricing decision making, you can text the word data plus your property address to the number down below. Now, in order for you to understand exactly what I'm talking about right now, the first thing that we need to do is go over the latest data trends. So let's start off in Santa Clara County. In Santa Clara County, we have 784 homes active on the market right now and 598 homes pending. When you look back, between now and a year ago, what you'll notice is that pending activity has remained fairly consistent. And so what does this mean? Well, it means that really year over year, we're seeing the same number of buyers in the marketplace. So the number of buyers in the marketplace has remained consistent. What's changed though, the number of homes that are on the market. And so you see January of last year to January of this year, we have about a 200 home increase on the market, 230 home increase on the market. And that is not insignificant. That is almost a 50% increase. It's like a 40% increase year over year in inventory levels. And that is absolutely relevant. We'll talk about that more in a second. Now let's head on up to San Mateo County. In San Mateo County, we had 360 homes active on the market and 196 homes pending. We look back a year ago, same number of inventory, or almost identical inventory levels and slightly lower pending activity year over year. So we have 196 homes pending versus 224 homes pending on the market this same time last year. So just a few less buyers here in San Mateo County year over year. Now, let's head on over to Contra Costa County. So in Contra Costa County, we had 1,032 homes active on the market and 581 homes pending. When we look back a year ago, we had roughly the same amount of pending activity, about 10% more year over year now than we did last year. But we've increased almost 40% year over year in terms of inventory levels. So we have 645 homes on the market at this same time last year versus 1,032 homes on the market this year. And then finally, in Alameda County. In Alameda County, we have 878 homes active on the market, 474 homes pending. Now we look back a year ago, basically the same story as Contra Costa. Almost identical pending activity. So we had 441 homes pending. So maybe a 3%-ish increase in inventory levels, in pending activity, I should say. But in inventory levels, we had 609 homes on the market last year. That's almost a 50% increase. It's like a 40 to 45% increase in inventory levels year over year. That is not insignificant. Now, as we know, housing markets follow the basic laws of supply and demand. So when supply is higher, as we're seeing this year, than it was last year, what does that mean for housing prices? Well, typically if supply is higher and demand stays relatively the same, which it looks like that is the case right now, that indicates perhaps that prices are going to go down. Well, not so fast. Just this week at my brokerage office meeting, I was interfacing with agents all over the Bay that were talking about multiple offer situations that their buyers were currently in. I heard situations where buyers were up against 5 offers, 10 offers, 15 offers. I even heard one situation where buyers were up against 25 different offers. So the question is, how can both things be true at the same time? How can the housing market be super hot, but inventory levels be up year over year? And not only that, but inventory levels superseding demand by quite a bit, or in better terms, inventory levels superseding pending activity by quite a bit. Well, this is exactly what I was alluding to earlier in the video. What we're discussing right now are two very different things. We're discussing macro trends and comparing them to micro trends. What this macro data is telling us versus the boots on the ground data that I'm receiving in real time from other agents is that on the whole, inventory levels are up, and there are certain parts of the county right now that is absolutely imperative to price properties correctly, or you're going to be sitting on the market for quite a long time. Not only that, but buyers are flocking to the best houses in the best neighborhoods. And I've talked about this before on many videos, right? This is not the first time we've encountered situations like this. In fact, this reminds me a lot of 2019. What you see on your screen right now is Santa Clara County housing data for 2019, the beginning of the 2019 market. Now, a couple things to notice. The first thing that pops right off the screen is that we had 1,238 homes active on the market in January of 2019. Now, while it might seem that we have a lot of homes on the market right now compared to the same time last year, it is a far cry from where we were at the beginning of 2019. Look at all of that inventory on the market right now. We had almost double the amount of homes on the market at this same time in January of 2019. So are the inventory levels high? No, not at all. And what this also tells us is that there is room for us to grow and still be in a stable market. Because while 2019 wasn't the greatest market in the world, it was definitely a stable market. We didn't experience this massive market correction, massive market crash, nor were we seeing prices coming down significantly. What 2019 was an incredibly balanced market where the best homes in the best neighborhoods were selling quickly and were selling with multiple offers, usually within the first 7 days that they came on the market. And there were a lot of other homes that sat on the market for a month, 2 months, 3 months, or there were homes that didn't even sell at all. And that, my friends, is absolutely not a buyer's market. Now, there's a difference though, because in the Bay Area, we've been conditioned to think, selling in 7 days is the norm. And that's a seller's market. And my gosh, if the home sits on the market, for 21 days and sells for only 1% over list price, or maybe 1% under list price, that suddenly it's a buyer's market. That is not the case. Now in the Bay Area, though, there's perception. And so consumer sentiment definitely plays into, our collective perceived reality. And the collective perceived reality might be that in some pockets of the Bay Area right now, we are, especially in the East Bay, right? We're seeing a lot of this in the East Bay. And definitely in the peninsula, there are many pockets here in Santa Clara County where we're seeing some really white hot activity. But that being said, the perceived collective reality is that it is a buyer's market. And there's some truth to that in the sense that it is a more buyer-friendly environment right now. But that doesn't mean it's a buyer's market. So what does this mean for you if you're a home buyer? Well, if you're a home buyer, understanding the context, understanding the trends, the micro trends in the area and or areas that you're focused in are imperative to the success of your home search. Because while the data might show you one thing, in the market that you're looking in, things might be white hot. Take, for example, single family homes in 95125, where there were many reports this last week from friends and other colleagues in the business that have buyers that are actively looking in 95125, 5, 10, 15 offers, multiple hundreds of thousands of dollars over asking price for these homes. This is a white hot market, and the data supports it. We had 19 homes active on the market right now and 22 homes pending. So definitely different trends than we're experiencing on the whole. And that's why as a home buyer, it's imperative to understand the trends that are happening in the specific areas that you're looking in. And it also depends on what kind of property you're looking for too. Condos and townhomes, completely different story a lot of the time than single family homes. And so you really want to understand what are the trends saying for the specific area and property type that I'm looking in, and that will aid your decision making, or should aid your decision making when buying a property here in the Bay Area. And the same thing goes for sellers. Understanding the micro trends in your specific area are imperative for pricing strategy. And not only that, but looking at the data to show, okay, what are other people in my neighborhood doing? Great example, tale of two different sellers. I met with the seller yesterday in Berryessa who's going to be listing their home with me for sale. And great family. They found me on YouTube, which I'm super excited about. So lots of sellers reach out to me from YouTube, and buyers too. But lots of sellers have been reaching out to me from YouTube. So if you're a seller feel free to reach out to me. Or if you're considering selling your home, feel free to reach out to me. We had a great conversation. And the strategy that had worked really well in their neighborhood after looking at the data was people consistently underpricing their home by a couple of $100,000 and driving the price up. That strategy had worked like a charm. Records were being set in that neighborhood with that pricing strategy. Now, I will be meeting with the seller tomorrow in Danville. Okay. And this seller, the prescription for him is going to be totally different because there have been mixed experiences with sellers who have underpriced their property. And the ones that have gotten the highest price per square footage have actually priced their home just a little bit above market value. And so what's very evident in these two situations is that pricing strategy matters based on the location that you're putting your home on the market in. So just because it's working for somebody in a different part of the Bay doesn't mean it's going to work for you. And we need to understand, what is the data showing us in this specific area? And then once we look at the data, we can make a judgment based on actual reality and facts, as opposed to just conjecture or like thinking this seems like the right approach. That's not what we want to do here. So the TLDR of all of this is clearly across the board, we are seeing more inventory here in the Bay Area. And that's a good thing because inventory levels have been incredibly suppressed over the last year and a half. And it stands to reason, and this is something that I predicted earlier last year, is that at some point the floodgates were going to open. People were going to say to hell with it and move on with their lives. And I'm seeing this in real time. I'm having a lot of selling conversations right now and a lot more selling conversations that I've had in the last 2 years. And so it stands to reason that people are going to just say, screw this. We're not going to wait for rates to come down because clearly the rates aren't coming down significantly anytime soon. And so why are we going to put our life on hold forever? That's exactly what's happening right now. And what will happen in due time is that those sellers also become buyers. So this is just going to be a slow progression here over the next couple of months. And so what you're seeing right now is perhaps leading data to show that finally the rates are no longer going to impact at least the selling market here in the Bay Area as much as they were over the last 2 years. And it stands to reason that eventually that will also matriculate into more buyers coming out of the woodwork and into the marketplace. And so this spring market, it is more imperative now more than ever to have great data at your fingertips to understand exactly what's happening in the marketplace so that you make the best decision possible and that you don't, A, give away any money unnecessarily if you're a buyer or a seller, or B, not be stuck in this hamster wheel of listening to people at the workplace telling you, hey, the market is it's a buyer's market and there's a lot of homes on the market right now, versus you being in a willow glen situation where you're constantly being outbid by 15 other buyers. That's not a fun place to be in. And so you need to understand, what is the reality of the situation that I'm getting myself into, and matching the strategy to pair alongside the reality of the market that you're buying a home in or selling a home in. If you made it this far in the video and you're not yet subscribed to this channel, what are you waiting for? Click the subscribe button, hit the notification bell to get notified every single time I upload a new video just like this one. And at the same time, if you don't mind, give me a like. It costs you nothing, costs you maybe 2 seconds of your time, and it helps me get in front of more Bay Area home buyers and sellers just like you that need to hear this advice. Thanks so much for watching, everyone. This is Danny Gould. I'm selling Silicon Valley, and I will catch all of you in the next video.